Good morning, guys. This is Rich down at Mr. Guns Firearms, Cave Creek, Arizona, with another installation of Nothing's Happening at the NFA. We are still waiting for the cans that I put in. I checked this morning, went through all the possibilities in terms of like what state or status the current submissions are in. You can actually do that on the dealer side of your eForms account, and everything is in process. That's all I get back. So I wanted to talk to you about another topic today that a lot of dealers and individuals there's a lot of curiosity surrounding it. And if you haven't been to a lot of gun shows, or there aren't gun shows available in your area, or you're a dealer and, you know, on a small scale, let's say you're a C&R guy or you're a kitchen table guy, are gun shows for you? Now, traditionally, I'm going to tell you that I started going to gun shows at a very young age because my dad was an avid collector, right? So we would go all over South Florida. Sometimes we would go to the west coast of Florida and go to gun shows because back in the 70s, it was very easy to trade across the table, buy guns without having to go through the 4473 application and the background check and all the rest of that stuff. So going to gun shows was an excellent option if you just wanted to go and look for something in particular that you could buy from an individual or get from a dealer that you never end up in his shop, wherever it is, right? So we're talking about, we would go to gun shows in West Palm Beach, big show. We would go to gun shows in Melbourne, big show. We would go to gun shows in Orlando, big show. And we would also go to a huge show that was in Lakeland, kind of like in the Zephyr Hills area. Long drive, like 6-hour round trip drive. But that's how much, you know, we were into looking for things that my dad was interested in, whether it was cowboy guns or German guns, specifically Lugers, Ruger number ones, you know, whatever he was kind of like looking to buy. And we also did jewelry and gold coins at those shows. So since I've been in business here, I've kind of shied away from doing the gun store thing, the gun show thing. I would go to gun shows when I was in California, and all the best stuff was from Arizona. That was before they really got restrictive with everything in the state of California with regards to like high capacity magazines and then the rest of the typical restrictions that they had. So now that I'm here in Arizona, I've known about the gun shows here. There's a huge one that happens down at the Phoenix Fairgrounds, and it's a Crossroads of the West show, which are typically the biggest operations, at least on the west of the Mississippi. And they have the most number of tables, and they have the most interesting stuff that shows up there because Arizona overall is a very pro 2A state. So I'm looking to reorganize my business and change the way I operate. I'll get more into that later, but you know, we're going to keep talking about gun shows right now. So last weekend, I did my second gun show. Now, the first gun show I did was back in 2022. I did the SAR show, which is an adjunct of the Phoenix Fairgrounds show. So the SAR show is the small arms review. There's a lot of full auto stuff there. There was, you know, all the biggest manufacturers that you can think of with regards to class 2, class 3 manufacturers are all there. Ron Smith is there. You know, these huge machine gun operations out of the Midwest will come down there. And you just see a lot of things that you would never see at any other gun show. So, and that's where a majority of those dealers would congregate. So I never made it over to the regular building to see what the regular gun show was like. So last weekend we did the Glendale gun show, which is a very small show. And when I say I'm working with a couple of gentlemen who are trying to get into that scene. And they need some guidance and they need some help with background checks and whatnot. And I put their guns in my book so that I can dispose the guns out of my book after a background check is done at the gun show. And only I can do this because these guys aren't dealers. So I would say probably the number one problem with gun shows today is that if you are not a dealer and you are hosting a table with your guns on it, or your buddy's guns or whatever else that you probably, you know, it's kind of sketch, you lack the ability to do background checks. And when you're selling guns across the table for cash or whatever else, and you just take a picture of somebody's driver's license, you don't know who that person is. And they're getting a gun from you that somebody had a 4473 written up on. And that person takes that gun and they take it and they go sell it to their cousin, or they're a felon, or they sell it to someone who's a felon because they can't do a background check. Now a felon's got your gun. And if your information is attached to that, and you performed a gun, this is where the whole gun show loophole comes out of the Democrats' mouth. That's this whole, it's kind of a pseudo fallacy, but there's guys still out there selling guns to people that they probably shouldn't, or they sell a gun to somebody who's going to give the gun to somebody else, or that gun's going to get stolen by somebody. Like, this is how this whole mentality gets going with the Democrats, and this constant squawking about things that are just, they have no control over, right? So, being a dealer at the gun show, I still have to go through the same process. They have to fill out a 4473. I have to do a background check. You can't walk away with the table with the gun without those things being done. I don't run around performing background checks for people. Somebody else wants to sell a gun to somebody, I'm going to charge you for that. You got to come in here. It's the benefit of the relationship, right? If you don't have the ability to do something, and I do, you're going to pay me to do that because I'm the one who goes through all this aggravation to do this stuff, get it set up. I mean, it is a huge process to become a gun dealer. It's not easy. Everybody thinks you're just going to go out and buy a bunch of guns and start selling guns and start making money. Doesn't work that way. So, number 2 issue with gun shows. Getting the tables is not a big deal. The venue, finding out schedules, where the biggest gun show is going to be, what are the best gun shows going to be, that's not difficult. Packing up all your guns. How many guns you want to take? 2 tables can hold about, depending on handgun, long gun, 40 to, we'll say, 60 guns. Combination short guns, long guns, right? You can put stuff under the table. You can stick stuff behind the table to pull out as you sell guns, right? So you got more inventory that you brought with you to bring more guns, get more guys to come to the table. Because you're hoping for a constant stream of people, of traffic. Where me, in the retail space here, like if people aren't coming in the door, I'm sitting here doing admin stuff or other things. Looking for guns, talking to my distribution reps, whatever. So, number 2 problem is the hassle. You got to pack all the stuff up. You got to take all the stuff down there. You go pre-show, so you load, you go down there and you set up your table and everything. You hope you get a table in a good place because they kind of pick it for you, unless you're a regular and you've got this constant relationship going with Crossroads of the West. You want the same table, same, square, whatever. I got 2 tables against the wall this time. So we have to go tomorrow morning. You can set up from 8 to noon, and then the show opens. So it goes noon to like 5:30 on Friday afternoon, and then it goes all day Saturday, and it goes all day Sunday. I'm just going to do Friday afternoon, and I'm going to do Saturday day. Now, what guns do I take? Well, I got all kinds of crazy guns here. I got a Lou Horton, like right here with a letter, Colt. Like, you're not going to see this gun anywhere. Do I take this to the show? This gun's $4,000. I don't know. Do I take cheap guns? Do I take shotguns? You can get this stuff off the internet anywhere. But you know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to buy off the internet because you don't want anybody to find your information or, that the government find out, whatever, how are you going to get those guns? I mean, there aren't a lot of guys walking around a gun show looking for a 1 of 200 Colt Stalker for $8,000. So do I take this? Or do I sell this online? I want the most people to see it. There's going to be a lot of people there. I don't know what the attendance is typically, but I know it's packed. I am 45, 50 minutes away from the fairgrounds, and I know that people ask me every week, you going to go to the gun show? You going to go to the gun show? Are you going to go to the gun show? I want to go to the gun show. So, things have been slow. Everybody's like, why is it slow? I'm like, Biden's recession finally hit, bro. There's only so fast that the recovery can happen. And, tariffs and all the rest. Like, everybody's got all this blah, blah, blah about like, why is this happening? Why is it slow? Eggs are cheap. Gas is cheap. We just took Venezuela. It's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Are people coming into my store and buying guns? If they're not, then I got to figure something else out. Okay? 3 people a day coming in my door is not going to make the rent. So you go to the gun show. You set your table up, you get everything out. Like people start coming through, right? And they're talking and they got cash and they got credit cards. You have the ability to ring up credit cards on site. Do you have the ability to run the background checks? I take pictures of all their driver's licenses. I get their phone numbers. Like all this stuff happens, right? I go and I do that show in Glendale last weekend. Some cat comes up and he wants to buy a shotgun. So we run his background check and it goes delayed. Now this can happen in the store too, right? Comes back delayed. That's fine. Hey dude, we'll get back to you as soon as he comes back to me, and then you can come back and pick up the gun. I get home, check it the next day, proceed. Try to get in touch with the guy. He totally ghosts us. Do you want that gun? You got to come back and get it. Hasn't given us the money for it or anything. I still have the gun. 2 days ago, FBI NICS calls me. They're like, hey, yeah, you know that gun? This guy, John Doe? Yeah, we're going to have to reverse that proceed. What? I did the background check electronically and you said I could proceed. You didn't give him the gun, did you? No, I didn't give him the gun. The guy never came back. You know why he didn't come back? Because he knew he wasn't supposed to have the gun. Luckily, we did not give him the gun. I don't even want to know what kind of problems that would have presented me. They're going to have wanted all his information, which they already had. They're going to have to go and probably try and retrieve the firearm. I mean, like, this is BS that you don't even want to deal with, dude. As a dealer, you got enough crap to do, okay? So, luckily, that did not transpire, and we still have the firearm here to sell. So, knowing who you're selling the guns to at a gun show is very important. Now, as a dealer, here's a good thing. I can walk around the show. One cat stays at the table. One guy walks around the show. You want to go walk the show? Take a break. Go walk around the show. See what you see. I could find deals there. I found a deal at the last show. Another dealer was looking for something, reached out to me. He knows I get that kind of stuff. Lo and behold, there's one right on the table right next to me. Bing, bang. His customer's happy. He's happy. I make a little money. So again, there's a lot of variables that go into a gun show. There's a lot of things that can happen at a gun show. There's a lot of people that can go to a gun show. I know another guy, doesn't own a shop. He goes and does gun shows and he does Cerakoting and some other stuff. In December, he didn't do the SAR show. He did the show next to it, the big building. He sold 75 guns. That's a lot of money. That's totally worth it for 2 days effort, right? Now, I told you that I did a show. I did the SAR show when I first moved here. I took all my best guns because I figured all the big money was going to be there. Guy split a table with me. So he had half the table. I had half the table. I know this guy from church. He's got all these gorgeous German guns. Like he's got Lugers and they're all in craft boxes and everything's perfect, right? And people know who he is because he's been in the scene around here for a long time. He's got machine gun guys he knows. He's got World War II guys he knows. Soon as he got set up, dude, people were on him. They're like, hey, Dave, you're here. What do you got? I'm looking at this. Dave's pulling out guns, right? Dave's got he's got containers of guns. He's got 10 guns on the table, and then people are coming up going, hey, do you have a 42 Luger DWM, blah, 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 right? Dave pulls out a box. Hey, here you go. How much you want for that? Boom, boom. I take all my cowboy guns. I take all my really nice guns and put them on the table down there. Set them all up. You have to leave them there overnight, dude. You don't pack up and leave every night. You leave the guns there. And they have security on site to watch your guns. A lot of these guns aren't mine. They're on consignment. I lose the guns. I still got to pay for the guns if somebody steals them. In the course of 12 hours, I watched David sell $40,000 worth of guns. $40,000. You know how much I sold? Zero. Not one gun. And it wasn't because his energy sucked all the energy out of my guns. I've got nice guns. Those guns that I took down there were really nice. So that took a lot of wind out of my sails. Now, On top of that, I wasn't in my shop for 2 shifts. Friday, Saturday, potentially busy, potentially dead. Did anybody come to buy a gun? I don't know. I wasn't here. Did anybody call me about a gun? No. I don't know. I wasn't here. So, is it worth it to take me out of the shop for 2 days? Listen, there is an expectation that I have with this store, X per day. If I don't make it this day, I'm probably going to make up for it in the next couple of days. You know how that goes, right? For overhead and travel and all the rest of that. I can't go somewhere and not make any money for 2 days if it's operating hours. No bueno, dude. So I'm going to go to this gun show and I'm going to take some nice guns and I'm going to put some more guns online. These 2 guns I just showed you, I'm going to take them down there, but they're also going online. Is anybody going to buy a $7,500 pistol at the gun show? Maybe, maybe not. Is somebody looking for a Lou Horton 1911? There's probably a guy looking there for 1911 Lou Hortons. I don't know. It's all a big hit and miss. But I definitely think there's more walking around money at the gun show. If you have guns and you want to do a gun show, you got to be able to cover your butt. Don't just get a table, roll down there with 20 guns, think you're going to sell the guns, because you can do private transfer here in Arizona, but you don't know who you're selling to. Even if you do a private transfer here in town and you know your buddy, say, listen, I would feel much more comfortable if we could just go and do a background check real quick, because I don't want to expose you to any potential liability, legal liability. And I don't want your crackhead cousin, you're not saying this, I don't want your crackhead cousin that I know about coming in your house, stealing that gun, going out and criming, and then it comes back that I own that gun and I'm the one who filled out the 4473 when it got bought the first time. So real careful with the gun shows, guys. Comment below. I've been trying to answer as many comments as possible. I totally love it. Thank you so much. There's so much to the gun business that isn't discussed by YouTubers.